Okay, I'm holding the camera so it can record because I don't trust how I usually do this. But anyways, let's jump into this top 5 list of madness. Yes, I'm making this month, next month, but this is just to get prepared for it. The madness top 5s. This was inspired by Jim Reviews. I don't have a reason for doing it, but we're going to start off with the top 5 worst SpongeBob episodes. Hear that, Joshua? As I said, madness. Now, yes, while I'm aware this has been done several times, I'm implementing a rule that will make this at least a little bit different. No pre-movie episodes. That will be a list on its own. I mean, the episodes are mediocre to slightly bad. Really, the worst one's slightly bad. Okay, but anyways, let's get into this. My number 5 pick is Face Freeze. Now, I'm gonna let you know something about me. I don't like gross out humor. So an episode dependent on gross out humor was sure to make this list. And Face Freeze is just that. What even is this episode? I would make a joke relating Futurama to this list, but I'm not going to. I have a double chin right now. But anyways, yeah, so let me tell you the plot of this episode. So, SpongeBob and Patrick are making silly faces, like a normal kid does. You think this would be a relatable episode like Sailor Mouth that was very relatable. I think everyone can relate to it. Grandparents, teens, and even parents. I mean, it's not as good as Band Geeks, but I think it deserves a top 10 spot. Top 10 best SpongeBob spot. But back to this episode. Mr. Krabs tells Patrick and SpongeBob while making silly faces could give them the face freeze. Kind of like Sailor Mouth, and also they related back to the episode's title, so good on you guys for relating it back to the title, like almost every SpongeBob episode does. But anyways, they keep making silly faces because who listens to Mr. Krabs? Except when it's convenient to the plot. Okay, but anyways, Mr. Krabs, they get the face freeze as expected because plot, and they go to Sandy to make them look better. It turns out they're worse. And yeah, the faces, they're complete gross out humor. A thing just appeared on the camera. But I should mention it. I'm getting sidetracked. But anyway, yeah, the faces are gross, and it depends on you laughing at these faces for the episode to work. And that just doesn't work for me. Then it just becomes boring and a gross out episode that most people won't like. Gross out humor is a small audience. I think the SpongeBob creators should know that by now. for no explained reason. Rather than we need a funny ending. Well, guess what? It isn't funny. It didn't accomplish the goal. Just a lot of people don't put this as number five, and don't consider it that worse. But I just thought I should talk about it because it just doesn't know what it's going for. But anyways, let's move on to number 4. And number 4. So I should tell you these last 4 have a common trend of characters getting punished for no reason. This episode follows that pattern. The sponge... Okay. So Plankton's trying to steal the Krabby Patty. Yes, we got that. We know that. But he steals Sandy's pelt. And we get very disgusting gross-ups of her. I think I've seen something that relates my number 5 worst SpongeBob episode and my number 4 worst episode. They're both gross. They both rely on gross-out humor. Or they both have gross-out humor in them. My camera's shaking a lot. That helped. That joke helped. But anyways, this one just doesn't work. They absolutely do nothing here. But anyways, the Plankton gets a hold of the pelt, goes inside the pelt, and then we come across one of the most horror-inducing scenes of the whole series. I wish I could put a picture up here to show you how horrifying it is, but take this scream as an indicator. Ah! It may not sound that scary. It may sound like I'm faking that scream, but it is. It looks like something out of a C+ horror movie. And yes, I gave a horror movie a grade. You can go down to the comments and type a lot about it and the animation quality in this episode, but you know that won't hurt me. If anything, that will help me improve my videos. So, do it. But anyways, I've heard of dumbing down your characters for plot, but this is just the characters pretending like something doesn't happen because of the plot. Plankton literally reveals himself for SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs to see, and they do absolutely nothing except stand there. And while all this is going on, Sandy is getting made fun of by the Bikini Bottomites, and finally she gets to the Krusty Krabs and actually punishes Plankton. That's why I put it number 4. But you know why it's still on this list? It's because after she gets this good revenge, the cops come in and arrest her, calling her a sicko for no reason of her fault. That sentence didn't make sense. Oh well. But anyways, on to number 3. A pal for Gary. Now, the reason I didn't put this at number 1 is because I thought that would be too predictable, and the reason I didn't put it in number 2 is because the number 2 worst episode is actually insulting. But anyways, let's get through with this. So, Gary at the house at all, so of course SpongeBob goes and buys him a pal. Oh, and also, Mr. Krabs is out of his office for no reason, rather than to pad out the time and pad out the plot. Make the plot work. They just forced the plot to work. Anyway, the pal keeps torturing Gary, literally jump scaring him like he's a character in FNAF 3. And at the end, he turns into a gross green creature of the height is 10 feet. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Well, SpongeBob scolds Gary for being tortured by the pal for Gary. And even when Gary's about to be killed by Puffy Fluffy, that's another problem with this episode. The name is so sickly cute, and of the pal for Gary, and he scolds Gary for almost dying at the hands of this thing. And when finally, SpongeBob is about devoured by this thing and will finally learn his lesson, Gary saves him because the goodness in his heart. I definitely wouldn't do it. Not after what he did. But he saves him, then scolds him for what he just did. You see why the fan base hates this episode now? It's because it's so unfair. That's a pattern with the next two episodes that are also considered number one worst. One course meal. Okay. This episode will probably get rehashed because the SpongeBob writers are running out of ideas. And that makes me mad because clearly I hate it. Anyway, after Plankton tries to steal the Krabby Patty formula again, could Plankton do something else? He meets Purr for apparently the first time, even though he's met Purr before and has never been scared of her, and is of course scared of her because whales eat plankton. They're running out of ideals, so they just educate people. Then Krabs uses this to his advantage and scares Plankton until Plankton is thinking about suicide and is locked in his house. And you know what else happens? Krabs is glad about it. Now let's break this down. Yes, whales eat plankton. You know what else they eat? Crabs. I hope Pearl's craving crabs. Actually, that would be an interesting plot. Why not in the growth spurt have Pearl eat Mr. Krabs. And then the SpongeBob crew learn about biology and how Pearl might eat crabs. That's the perfect plot. That's the perfect plot. That's the perfect way to not mess up this episode. How about in the second half, crabs be tortured by Pearl. Anyways, Krabs wins in the end because he owns the Krusty Krabs. That's where the main character works. So of course he's going to win. Honestly, I think Plankton should have won. He should have tortured SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs for at least a good month or two. I am so mad at SpongeBob for making sure Plankton is beaten. Anyway, let's hurry up with number 1. It's surprising. Pet Sitter Pat. It is bad. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows the plot. Everyone's seen the episode. Everyone thinks it's infamous. Done. The episode's done. No, really. What is there left to say? Rather than, the other four episodes where people get tortured for no reason. Here, the one torturing the character for no reason gets rewarded by the character they're torturing. The ending makes no sense. Honestly, I think Gary should have mauled him to death. Mauled Patrick to death. Just this episode doesn't make any sense. I'm not even going to explain the plot. Everyone's seen it.